Yeah, Hell's Kitchen wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be. I did it because Marco asked me to do it, and I thought, well, I mustn't miss a chance on working with him. But then once we're all thrown into this sort of cauldron that is the Hell's Kitchen, and the producers put you under such stress that, you know, it's not about cooking, it's about arguing, and that's what they got from me, and I didn't particularly like it. I didn't like the way they were editing it, but I loved working with Marco, and although there's been pretty much a downside where probably most girls in between the ages of 18 and 22 who watch Big Brother now think that Jim Davidson's horrible. You know, I've had so many letters of support of saying what you said was not really harmful. People are just a little bit too sensitive.
I think one of his big concerns was your phrasing of gay, good as you. I've thought about it an awful lot, especially thinking about this interview today, and I still can't understand how it could possibly have been offensive to anybody, including him.
Yeah, I think it's like, well, do you know who leapt at that? It was little Abby, the Peter Crouch's squeeze, who said, how can you say that to him? How can you say that? But actually, it's a great quote, Victor Spinetti. He made it up himself, and he said that when someone was talking to him about being gay and trying to put him down because he was gay, he said, listen here, matey, you know what gay stands for? G-A-Y, good as you, and don't you forget it. And I was going to go on to quote some of the great gay people in the world that have done certain things, but of course they didn't want to know any of that. No such thing as debate. And then later on, after a few beverages, a very tired and emotional Brian bursts into this outrage. And the argument actually started because he said that he was offered over £500,000 to do his story about Big Brother. And I said, you must be off your head. And of course, that all took off. And that was the end of that. And I left. And with the producers taking the moral high ground to say what you said could be deemed as offensive to people who are watching. And I said, well, don't edit it. How can you take the moral stance when you have the ability to not show it? But they chose to show it. So it's on their heads, not mine.
When you went into Hell's Kitchen, did you think it would end like this? When I heard that you were going in it, I was surprised. I know what a lover of cooking you are, because the last time I interviewed you, you were cooking dinner for everybody on the team, so that didn't surprise me. But putting you in with people who don't know who you are, don't know your act, and only know what they've heard from three other people.
Yeah, that's a big problem, and I'm glad you get that, because that is the big problem with me, Jim Davidson, the performer. People who don't know me, who've never seen me, have this perception of me, and no matter what I do, it won't change them. And I don't really want to go around apologising. I don't want a T-shirt with some of my best friends are black and gay and all that stuff. So Marco asked me to do it, and I said I would. Marco was very nervous about doing it, and he said he'd look after me. So that was one reason. I got back to England and told my manager, and he said, well, let's speak to and then the Hell's Kitchen people said, Marco's asked him to do it. I didn't really want to do it, so we had charged them a fortune, and they said, okay. So I got paid quite a bit, as you could tell by looking at the rest of the contestants. I had all the budget, thank God. What I didn't realise is how intense the filming would be backstage. They said, we're going to film you backstage. That's okay, I don't mind that. But there was cameras everywhere. I thought someone had come in with a camera like you're doing now and with a microphone and say, how's it all going? And it was just a bit intense. And I found that those young girls, I couldn't connect with them at all. And I felt that Brian had an agenda as a reality TV star. And very quickly I started to look down my nose at them. Thought they were lesser people than me, and that's always a recipe for disaster. No one likes to see that, and I was aware of that, but I just couldn't bear these untalented people gobbing off about how talented they really were.
But again, the ITV people must have known that that was what was going to happen. They also knew that you were working incredibly long days in a really intense atmosphere anyway. So there were going to be sparks, because that's what they want. Ultimately, you got them ratings, which is the sickest thing of all, that you being kicked off. They're the dream moments that they live for.
But yes, of course, they would never say we can't have Jim Davidson saying that, because if they'd have edited it out, no one would have known. And no one would have been any of the wiser. So they gave up their moral high ground to keep the ratings. And the other thing, which is really annoying, is that Brian and I got on quite well. Like there was the girls' dormitory and a boys' dormitory. I said, which one are you in, Brian? Why'd you say that? Oh, no particular reason, just wondered. But there seems to be a little cult of celebrity now. There seems to be this little cult of we are nice little celebrities, although we don't do much, and we're all happy together, and we're all nice, and we're all perfect, and we're very PC, and we're very lovely, and we're photographed in Heat magazine quite a lot. And we're big fans of Dale Winton's.
I think your worst enemy are those people who come and take you out of context and use 4 words in a 15,000 word skit.
That's what Marco said in the kitchen. Jim spoke for 25 minutes and they showed 30 seconds of it.
Are you at the point now where you don't care, you just have to carry on doing what you do? Because you really can't win at this point, can you, with the press?
Well, I can't win, no. But I do the act that I want to do, that the fans like, and then if the press want to misreport it, that's their problem. Although it does build, and it makes you annoyed and angry because you don't really have a say, and you don't want to keep going in the paper saying, I didn't say that, or I'm not racist. How many more times do we have to say that? It's just a little annoying, and I do get upset when I'm misquoted and classed as well, what's this one? Homophobic now this one is, isn't it? This is the new one. A lot of people do think it's crazy.
So it's because it's you?
Because it's me, yeah, and I think the papers are trying to find a new Bernard Manning. Well, they won't find it with me, and if they do, it'll be a sad old day because it's not true.